right. On my mic. It should be on. Am I on?
Yeah.
You guys can hear me out there? Good. Okay, well.
Not on mute. Are you on mute?
Let's continue. Come, let us sing. Havana, Shira, Shir, Hallelujah. All right, let's really hear you. Come on. Havana, Shira, Shir, Hallelujah. Shir, Hallelujah. Havana, Shira. Shir hallelujah, shir hallelujah, Havana shira, shir hallelujah, shir hallelujah, Havana shira, shir hallelujah, shir
That was good.
That was nice.
It's so good. It is so good to see you and to be with you. You can't hear me?
Move your mic up.
Oh, my Lord. Is that better? That's great. I'm astounded. And that, to actually hear what you sound like. And I know you imagined that I was as tall as these guys, but you all look great, and you're great in 3 dimensions. It's amazing. About a year ago, in fact, precisely a year ago, we were here, and it was the first time that we gathered for Shabbat services here as a team, and Rabbi Wademaker was here too, and the weather was the same, and it was my first time being in this beautiful spot that so many of you treasure. And on that night, I was very touched by words that Rabbi Prosnit said, words of welcome that were completely unexpected to me. And it was this wonderful moment, but of course there was something missing, and it was all of you. And I feel like tonight is that sense of a circle closing for me, just for me. I don't know about for you, but for me, that personally I finally arrived, and that we're together. And it's been a long time coming. And I recently learned about a ritual in the Mishnah that has everything to do with circles. And maybe some of you know about this ritual. I didn't know about it. You can read in the Mishnah that in the temple, on pilgrimage holidays or at any moment when folks would come into the temple to celebrate or to pray together, generally, most people would enter from the right and come into that space. But others would come in from the left. And the folks who would come in from the left were those in the community that had suffered a loss or overcome an illness or dealt with some difficult thing that had occurred in their lives. And as they entered that space from the left, the others would be coming in from the right. And when they encountered each other, as the circles started to overlap, the folks who came in from the right would ask the folks coming in from the left what had happened in their lives. Why are you coming in from the left? And so the people coming in from the left would say, well, I lost somebody, or I overcame an illness, or I dealt with this very complicated issue in my life. And the folks coming in from the right would give them words of comfort, specific to what had occurred to them. And I thought of those circles, and those circles are an incredible moment of choreography. It's like the arms connecting and coming together in an embrace of support. On this night, all of us have come in from the left. We've all come in from the left. We all are contending. We all have contended with something so complicated, so difficult. In various degrees, we've all been touched by this pandemic, and we've now come into this sacred space from the left, holding all of that, but also having survived all of that. At the same time, all of us are those folks coming in from the right, because we're the ones who are going to give compassion to each other as we come together like this. We're both entering this space from the left, and we're also entering this space from the right, and coming together in the embrace of community that we have not experienced in so long. We have a blessing in our tradition that many of you know that marks that crossing over, that coming through, that arriving upon, passing through danger. Traditionally, you read in the Talmud that this blessing was said after you crossed an ocean or a desert or came out of prison. You would say this. You can choose whatever metaphor you want to choose, but this last year has been like crossing an ocean or a desert, and the strictures have felt at times like a prison. So I want us to join together for this blessing of Thanksgiving, this blessing, Birkat HaGomel, which you will find on page 253, also page 371. And typically, the individual who's come through something of danger says this first part of this blessing, and then the community responds with their words of blessing. But since we've all gone through this experience, I'd like all of us to say the first and second lines of this blessing. And of course, the blessing itself you will be saying for yourself. But the second words, the words that the congregational response, we will be saying for each other. So let's all join together. Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, shegema lanu kol tov.
And in English,
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who has bestowed every goodness upon us.
and we respond with a hearty
Amen.
Mi shegemalchem kol tov, hu yigmalchem kol tov, Selah. Amen. May the one who has bestowed goodness upon us continue to bestow every goodness upon us forever.
And despite the troubles of the last 15 months, despite all the turmoil of the last month, year and a half, life has continued. I don't know what that was. Life has continued, and there have been moments of incredible blessing. Wonderful things have happened in the midst of this pandemic. And before we join together for Shehechianu, I want to invite you to shout out something good that's occurred for you in these past, year and a half. For you, for your children, for your grandchildren. I'll start, just so you get what I want you to do. I'm thrilled to be a new member of this congregation with my family, Molly Schmidt, who's sitting over there, and our son, Zeke Morrison, our daughters at camp. But we're thrilled that we got to join this congregation during this past year. What else you got? Good stuff.
New grandson.
A new grandson. Good. What else? Granddaughter.
Grandson graduated from high school.
Grandson graduated from high school, survived surgery. Good. Well done. What else? Grandson who came in from the cold. Great. Wait, I heard someone got into Stanford. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right, good job. What's yours? Got a stand-up paddleboard. Good. What else you have? Good stuff. Yeah. All right, Janet's back as a columnist.
My nephew came home from 6 months at an undisclosed location in the Middle East, and everything is well.
That's great. Wonderful.
There you
When he
go.
started a new job
Amen.
here. Yeah. Grandson's bar mitzvah. Yeah. Okay, son moved to a new house in Washington. What else do you have? Good stuff. Peggy's into the graduate theological unit at Berkeley. Good. I'm glad I could be helpful. All right. So, other good things. Yeah, Toby. Great new niece. Awesome. Great niece. Got it. Other things. Yeah. Oh, great. Grandson's actually going to graduated and is now moving nearby. I'm only going to people once, my friend. A couple more. Yeah? A great-grandson was born. Yeah.
I think the best thing is just being here tonight.
Great. Excellent. Good.
All right, that's a great. Thanks, Carol. Great segue. We're going to join together in our blessing of gratitude. Shehechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
have another simcha tonight, which is that we are kicking off Jacob Kaplan's bar mitzvah weekend. And we'd like to invite him and his family up to light the candles. And then Jake will lead us in Kiddush. You can find the blessing for candle lighting on page 2 or 120. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Please turn to page 5 or 123. Come up close. You guys can all come behind him.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon himchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techilah lemikrae kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim ki banu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashavat. Amen. L'chaim. Thank you guys. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Good job, Jake.
Jake, we're so happy for you this weekend and your whole family. It's a total delight to see your brother and sister home from school. Zach, I don't know if you know this, but Rabbi Morrison is an alumni of Washington University in St. Louis as well, so you guys can bond over their amazing sports before too long. And it's also great to see Jordan and Sylvia and Jake and Jeffrey and Isaiah and all of our other college students or recent graduates who are home with their parents over the summer. It's just so fun to connect with you and anyone else I might have missed. Our Kiddush Cup overflows tonight because not only do we get to be together and not only do we get to celebrate Jake and your bar mitzvah, but I'm going to invite you to think back for a second to the year 1971. If you weren't alive then, no big deal, because the top song in America was a song called Joy to the World by Three Dog Night. The Pittsburgh Pirates would go on to win the World Series. The New York Times released something called the Pentagon Papers. Good job, Susie, which revealed that the U.S. had secretly enlarged the scope of its actions in the Vietnam War. The biggest Hollywood hits of that year included Dirty Harry, Shaft, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and a movie which was based on a surprise Broadway hit called Fiddler on the Roof. That year was the ratification of the 26th Amendment, which lowered the voting age from 21 to 18. The first Starbucks opened in Pikes Market in Seattle, Washington. The temperature that day was 70 degrees. The first microprocessor, the 4004, was released by Intel. Did anybody here work on that? No? And get this, a gallon of gas cost 36 cents. And 50 years ago this weekend in Verona, not Italy, but New Jersey, two recent Rochester University graduates, Leslie and Michael Braun, came together with their families to exchange rings and celebrate their wedding. They had met in a psychology class in Rochester, and Leslie delayed her junior year abroad trip to Israel to be with Michael. It was a wise decision, she says, because I picked the right guy way back when. Leslie and Michael moved from New York to our area in 1993 and joined Beth Am soon after. They love travel, having been all over the world, including to Australia, New Zealand, the Mediterranean, Turkey, Spain, and 40 years after she was supposed to go abroad to Israel with Congregation Beth Am. They enjoy golf, and if you can play golf with your partner, that is a true test of a strong marriage. Today, they are blessed with 2 daughters, Amy and Michelle, 2 sons-in-laws, Jay and Aaron, and 4 grandchildren, Adeline, Owen, Isaac, and Annette, who are streaming tonight and get to watch your grandparents. Leslie and Michael say the key to 50 years of a loving and happy marriage is having a set of good role models to look up to surround yourself with people with similar values and interests, and support one another through everything. Michael also added, always do what your wife says. So Leslie and Michael, we're going to invite you up at this time to offer you a special blessing, and Cantor Spall is going to join us. Wave to your grandkids out there. They're streaming. So one of them's on the route to Camp Tawanga. So how happy does that make us feel? Misha Berach Avotenu Vimotenu. May the one who blessed our answers bless you. Leslie and Michael, on this your anniversary, may you reflect with deep gratitude upon the years that passed. Many and varied have your experiences been since that moment 50 years ago this weekend. May you recall the joys that have sweetened your lives. May you be thankful for the strength that allowed us to weather the storms that shook you to your roots. God, you have blessed this couple through all their years together. So may you continue to bless them with your presence in the years to come. And on behalf of all the clergy and the entire synagogue, we offer you a... Mazel
Welcome Shabbat, singing Lecha Dodi, page 20 and 138. And we want to hear your voices.
Shabbat.
128 or 146. This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back or cross over? Page 34. Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu,
be seated. Let's join together in chanting the words of V'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ושמרתם בעם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת.
Turn to page 40. We'll sing our special song of freedom and redemption to a tune quite fit for this holiday weekend.
אדוני את יעקב, גואלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, לישראל.
And keep singing our nighttime prayer, our prayer for shelter and peace. The words of Hashkivenu are on the next page. If you're able, I invite you to rise for the words of the Amidah, which will say the opening meditation on page 46, and then begin the prayer on page 48. When you're done with your personal prayer, you may be seated.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Adonai sefatatitam uviyagi tegilatata. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Konel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevii Geula Livnei B'neihem, Le'man Shemo V'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol atah Rav v'Hoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel Chaim b'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol b'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim v'Rofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Onidom Elach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Page 60 or 178.
Shalom Yisrael Tasim Leolam. Shalom Yisrael Tasim Leolam. Ki atah melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atah melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael. Bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim
I invite you to turn to page 253 as we offer our Misha Berach Lecholim, our sacred prayer for healing. Know that there are so many in our community in need of comfort, in need of prayers for renewal of body, renewal of spirit, strength, compassion, friendship. Our tradition teaches that we can all be those people. Especially thinking today of David Ben-Ami, Laura Amons, Susan Amons, Ginny Anderson, Diane Denenberg, Linda Derman, Mason Easley, Arlene Gilliand, Barbara Heikind, Dorothy Hupert, Moritz Hupert, Marvin Jones, Joan B. Carlin, Wendy Levine, Daniel Monheit, Peggy Pizzo, David Baruch Ben Simona, Bonnie Slavitt, and Donna Spanger. If you're thinking of someone in need of healing, I invite you to share their name at this time.
Abraham,
in April, in the lead up to Yom HaAtzmaut, I shared with you the news. Not loud enough? My goodness. Oh, all right. I shared with you the news back in April that we are entering into a new relationship with a congregation in Israel, Kamatz, Kehilat Mivaseret Zion. And I want to thank Charlie Rothschild with his work with the World Union for really encouraging these matches. There were a couple weeks there where I think you were matching hundreds of congregations in the US and abroad with one another. And we've ended up with a wonderful match. I know some of you might have even been to this congregation in Mivaseret, but you haven't, most of you I don't think have met their rabbi. Tonight you get to meet their rabbi in a video. I wish at this point Alona near Karen came out and would be able to preach right from here, but hopefully one day she will do that. But we have a wonderful and short Devar Torah that Alona has prepared for us this evening. And most of you will be able to see it here on the screen. We'll also put it out, post it on our website if you can't see it tonight. It's a really hard thing to preach in a non-native language. And Alona, whose English is excellent, you'll see she's reading from a prepared text. And then every so often she looks up. And the word Karen, her last name, means like a beam, a ray of light. And you will see those rays. You will see the strength and wisdom and great stuff that Alona has. She's been the rabbi there since 2016. She and her partner have 2 children, and I'm very hopeful that someday soon we'll be actually able to meet her either here or there. So.
Erev Tov, Shalom. My name is Alona Nir Keren, and I'm the rabbi of Kehilat Mevaseret Zion. I'm really excited to send you this Dvar Torah, and I hope that we're gonna meet face to face, panim el panim, in a few months here in Israel, in our synagogue near Jerusalem. I would like to share with you my Dvar Torah. So the 2 most famous stories of this week's Torah portion are Pinchas, the zealous priest, who stabs 2 sinners and then is granted an eternal covenant. And the second story is the story about the 5 daughters of Tzlofchad, who demanded to be recognized as legal heirs, and by then changed the divine law, a tale particularly appreciated by us liberal Jews. However, sometimes it's worthwhile to also pay attention to the small details that appear in between. Immediately following the portion of Pinchas, we have a long list of all the tribes of Israel broken down by families. As an ardent feminist, when looking at biblical lists of names, I immediately look for the names of the women, and while usually disappointed, in our case, upon careful reading, no less than 8 and no more than 9 names of women are indicated. 5 daughters of Tzlofchad, Machla, Noach, Hogla, Milka, Tirza, Yochevet, and Miriam. And if one looks very carefully, there is one more, Serach bat Asher. If we then add the name of the unfortunate daughter of Midian, Kuzbi bat Tzur, we end up with the names of 9 women. Taking into account that fewer than 100 women are mentioned by their names throughout the entire Bible, this means that around 10% of they appear in our portion. Definitely a respectable achievement. So remember, number 9, it's an important number also because I'm a Beatles fan, number 9, but remember, we'll come back to it later. So let us pause for a moment and look into or at those women who were worthy enough to be mentioned and remembered forever. So if for the moment we put aside Kuzbi Batzul, the Midian daughter, most of us are familiar with the story of 7 of them. The 5 daughters of Tzlofchad, and Yochevet and Miriam, respectively the mother and the sister of Moshe and Aaron. But who is Serach bat Asher. So she is Bat Asher, the son of Jacob. So she is a granddaughter of Jacob. And a quick Google search in the Bible reveals that Serach appears twice in the Bible. Once when we count the children of Israel who enter Egypt, and a second time in our parasha when they depart Egypt. So Serach, the daughter of Asher, if we calculate, lived more than 400 years. She's the only one who descended into Egypt and also ascended from it. This makes her to be quite a miraculous figure. The Midrashim of the sages will describe Serach as a wise and influential woman, a woman with whom men often consult, and who is the driving force behind important historical processes. First and foremost, the course of redemption, Geulah. Serach holds the keys to redemption. So, taken into the context of the dozen of men mentioned in the list only because of their family affiliation, the list is divided by tribes, these 8 women stand out due to their influence, knowledge, wisdom, and experience, and I would like also to add, due to their courage they exhibited, and perhaps especially because of their subversion of the establishment. According to one of the Midrashim, for example, Serach is the only person among all the tribe of Jacob who dares to tell him that his son Joseph, Yosef, is still alive. And by the way, she's doing it by singing and playing quietly to Jacob's ears. The other 2 persons that we know, Miriam and Yocheved, according to the Midrashim, are in fact Shifra and Pua, the 2 midwives who dare to defy Pharaoh's decree to kill all the Hebrew male babies, and so they influence the course of history. And finally, we come to the daughters of Tzlofchad, who dare to raise their voices, look straight at Moses, and demand justice. So I asked you to remember number 9 a few minutes ago, and the 8 women from Israel and the one from Midian. And why is number 9 is so important to me? This number actually is not so important, but immediately it sent me to a relevant, it becomes relevant when we look at the new government established about a week ago in Israel. Out of the 27 new government ministry, a third, 9 are women. 9. True, we are still very far away from the 50% of egalitarian representation, but we now have the largest number of women ministers in the 73 years of Israel history. State of Israel history, of course. I would like to finish my Dvar Torah with 2 wishes. One, may the Almighty grant that the 9 ministers will mirror the 8 women in the Bible list, that they will be strong, influential, and seekers of justice. And the second wish is, may the Almighty enable us in Israel, as well in the United States, to reach the egalitarian representation we deserve. I hope we arrive at a day when my 7-year-old daughter will not have to check how many women are on the list and be content with only a 33% of representation, or be comforted that there is at least a woman vice president. I think that both our communities, reform communities in Israel and in the United States, are at a good starting point for that change to happen. Shabbat Shalom, and see you soon.
We'll continue now with Aleinu L'Shabeach on page 282 or 586. Please rise.
Which paragraph should we do, Rabbi Weissman?
Oh, pick one.
Let's try the top paragraph. Everybody follow along. It's a little bit more, inclusive. Here we go. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו בגופי מרומים,
seated. We turn now to the prayer of memory. And as I say the name of your loved one, if you'd like to rise in their honor, then we'll all rise and recite the words of Kaddish together. This week, the Bethlehem community mourns the loss of Connie Weiss, cousin of Ellen Lawanda, the Kleinman family who perished in the Surfside, Florida tragedy, Lee Weeder, husband of Diane, father of Kavod, Ilana, Ronit, and Matthew, grandfather of Levi, Sapphira, Jesse, Aiden, and Aviv, Bernard Hartman, father of Sandy Hartman, grandfather of Jeffrey, James, and Julia Birdwell, Jocelyn Sherry Levine, mother of Desiree Rep and our member Justin Kirkwood, mother-in-law of Amy, grandmother of Naomi and Liliana. We're observing Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Sheldon Soffer and Linda Mankin. And we are observing the yahrzeit, the anniversary of death this week, of Marion Allen, Doris Allen, David Ben Yaakov, Philip Bennett, Abraham Berman, Gertrude Polly Berman, Frida Forgang Bobroff, Madeleine Carmel, Herbert Cohn, Jimmy Costanzo, Carol Dorschkind, Jack Durand, Eileen Eisenson, Carrie Emmerich, Dorothy Geller, Alan Harvey Gopedy, Daniel Greenberg, Ian Greenblatt, Hyman Goralnik, Sidney Hannaford, Yetta Heineck, Joseph Hoffman, Ruth Hope, Harry Horowitz, Joseph Carroll, Basia Kashis, Ray Feldman Katz, Francis Koplowitz, Ann Krieger, Sidney Levin, Elise Levy, Mortimer Lewis, Florence Lillian Stein, Richard Lonoff, Gladys Mays, Jerome Mandel, Maria Margulis, Dan Markell, Susan McIntosh Lloyd, Kathy Mead, Samuel Mell, Charles Malenko, Stanley Millman, Jackie Morgan, Elaine Morrison, Morris Nassan, Sofia Orlova, Eliezer Rabinovich, Julius Raphael, Esther Ratner, Doris Renwick, Abe Rovell, Ruth Rovell, Mayor Rubenstein, Arthur Seidman, Paulina Shafir, Leonid Shapiro, Vera Shapiro, Rosa Shyness, Ben Schrago, Robert Silver, Stanley H. Slum, William Smolkin, Charles Stein, Jacob Steinberg, Bennett Steinmuller, Marlene Strober, Corinne Taich, Lucille Upin, Jaco Wexler, Townley Wolf Jr., and Murray Zuckerman. If there's someone else you're missing tonight, please rise and say their name aloud.
Deborah Freelander.
Joyce Wortman.
Zichronam livracha. May their memories be a blessing. We all rise as one community and turn to page 294 or 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach leolam ulalmei almayah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu
be seated for just another minute. I'd like to tell you about this month's tzedakah recipient. This month we are collecting for Live in Peace, which is a nonprofit based in East Palo Alto, whose mission is to empower youth and young adults to reclaim the vision for their future. Live in Peace runs programs that provide students with academic skills, personal and professional development, artistic and cultural education, and access to a range of resources. You can read more about it on our website. We hope that you will be generous and donate either on our website or by sending a check to the Betham office.
Or the tzedakah box, which is
Or
in the back.
Oh, it's back.
Yeah.
It's back and ready to be used.
I also want to make an announcement. So, in honor of us coming back, we're hosting a series of, we're calling them homecoming picnic concerts, starting next Sunday evening at 6 o'clock. So it's going to be like a sort of an oldies and goodies sing-along with, we're going to have Fred and Lauren Ford and Ken on drums. We have Ben playing his oboe. I'm going to have some guitar, piano. So we hope that you'll come out and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bring a snack.
It's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be so much fun. Yeah, so that's the first one, July 11th, marking 6 o'clock. We hope everyone will show up for that.
And that it's going to be here at Betham, of course. And then, of course, we should give a major thanks to the people that have been doing our tech and our sound for 15 months. Alex and Rachel, the president of our synagogue, Jay Hirsch. Russell is playing keyboard and piano. We could not bring these services together without them. And then on that note, we have been following instructions for like 16 months. We've washed hands 20 seconds. We've worn masks. We've been as cautious as we can. And we want to just remind people, we know the Betham minhag, the Betham tradition, is sometimes reaching out to neighbors and swaying. And we want to be cautious.
It's Rabbi John's favorite thing about Betham.
Yeah.
I kid you not.
We want to be cautious that there might be people sitting next to you that do not want to sway or do not want to be touched. So we want to try and be cognizant and open and loving to everybody in every way. So please be, you can take a lighter out of your pocket and hold it in the air if you need. Be careful, though, actually. We should be careful of that. But so when we sing our closing song, I just want everyone to have that in their mind as we celebrate Shabbat together.
So I didn't want to leave you hanging before it, Micha Mocha. Were you going to say something?
Just that we're not having our online foyer tonight, so if you're watching from home, we're sorry, but there will be no online foyer. We hope that you will schmooze in some other way. Now we can sing.
All right, I felt like I left you hanging there with just that one verse. So let's join together in this beautiful song, This Land is Your Land. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land is made for you and me. As I was walking that river of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me the golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. And all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. the sun comes shining, then I was strolling in the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling. The voice comes chanting, and the fog was lifting. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Last one. When the sun comes shining. Oh no, we already did that.
We already said that.
For you and me.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Zach.